Hey everybody, so today what we're going to do is we're going to repack the bearings on my 32 RLS Alliance Avenue. This is going to be the same as a lot of different rigs out there. It's a Dexter 6,000 pound axle, and so it has drum brakes, electronic drum brakes, and so we're going to get right at it here when we come back. Alright, so the first thing I want to show you is I actually took the wheel off already, but I figured it'd be actually easy to show you how I jacked this up and made sure it was secure and safe, so it's not going to go anywhere. Alright, so I have chocks in front and rear of this rear wheel. Let me show you underneath here. I have I put some wood down because I'm on dirt. Let me zoom this out a little bit. I put some blocks down on the gravel, and I have this 3-ton, it's kind of like a 3-ton jack stand jack. I love this thing. It works great, and a 3-ton jack stand. So I have both on each side. Now, they tell you not to jack on these axles, but you definitely don't want to jack on the middle of these axles. I jacked on each side, so so I jacked it up until this actually went down in this lock position, and then I put this up as high as I could get it, let it down, and it was perfect. It landed right on the 3-ton jack stand and the 3-ton jack. Now over here, I did something a little bit different. I used my regular jack, jacked it up, and as you can see, I don't like this jack because what happens is it actually loses pressure, and it's completely tight. I don't understand why it's losing pressure. I tighten it up every time, and it still goes down like that, so it's kind of weird. So it's sitting on a 3-ton jack stand all by itself underneath there, and I have it blocked up with the regular blocking, and it's not going to roll anywhere. So that's how I did it. It's really safe. I'll go over there and give that a few more pumps. I don't know why it keeps coming down like that. Just a cheap jack, I guess. But it doesn't make any sense. I tighten it up like you're gonna lift something with it and leave it tight, and it still backs off. So now I haven't figured that one out. So next we'll show you right from the beginning. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the wheel off and go right from start to finish for you. All right. All right, so I just wanted to go over some of the tools that you're going to need to do this job. I got a nice little cheap oil pan from Walmart, like $2 or something. That's what you're going to put your hubs into and clean them out, that kind of thing. Then brake clean, you're going to need that to spray on the hubs. Got plenty of shop towels. Also, I got a bearing race and seal driver master set. This is great for putting the seals on, and if I ever have to put races on, I'll have this kit already. I don't have to worry about it. That can be if I'm on the road somewhere and I need to put races and bearings in, I can actually do that. Some shop towels is always a good idea. You're going to need a torque wrench. I have an extension too for when I'm actually torquing the wheels to keep myself away from the side of the tires with the torque wrench, because it can be a little tight. Excuse me. Also, you're going to need a grease gun, some sandpaper. I'll show you what that's for. Also, something to kneel on, a pad to kneel on. You got some rubber gloves. It's always good when you're working with that much grease. I got my impact, electric impact. Just some regular tools that you might need. You can go back and rewind this if you want to see. Gloves, hammers, bearing packer. A lot of people do you know, they pack the bearings by hand, but this packer works amazing, and I'll show you how that works. And I got, yeah, the hub seals. I got extras here. Got a couple there. You're gonna want some channel locks. And these hub savers, these are the thing that started this whole thing off. We realized that we needed to put these on in case something ever blew up. If your bearings kind of fall apart and break on the road, and they just, your wheel can actually come right off. There's nothing to hold it. Okay, the washer that's on there is not going to hold the wheel from coming off. So to put these hub savers on, you can actually drive down the road quite a ways at a slow speed with it just riding on this hub saver. It acts kind of like a bearing temporarily, and it'll save you a butt and get yourself off the road. So made of a real high strength steel, and something I highly recommend doing. And it's got holes in it so the grease can come out when you're actually putting grease in there. A lot of people think that when you put grease from your gun, just pump grease in there through the end of the hub, you know, you can pop these caps off and there's a grease fitting in there, and you just keep pumping grease until the grease comes out. Well, that's fine and dandy, but that's not all you have to do. So we recommend every 15,000 miles or 2 years, whichever comes first. Okay, so I'm going to get started here, get things set up, and start pulling the wheel off and pull the hubs off, and so I can repack those bearings. All right. I want to take a moment to actually talk about why I'm not just doing one tire and hub at a time. I'm going to do, I did the front axle already, okay? So I had both hubs and both wheels off. I'm going to do the same thing on the back. The reason being is if all of a sudden you take this side off and then you fix it, you pack the hubs, and then you put it all back together, and then you go to the other axle and you pull it apart, and it's covered, the brake pads are covered in grease. Those brake pads are junk. You're going to have to replace those brake pads. So you have to replace both sides if you have to replace brake pads. So then you would have to tear this side all apart again. So that's why I do one axle at a time, both sides. All right? All right, here we go. So you're going to need something to pull. Actually, you don't. I'm going to leave this right on here just like that.
Nice.
Throw some gloves on. Probably a good idea. Every chance you get. And safety glasses is always a good idea, especially when you're using an impact. Anything like that, metal can come off. But okay. I'll just throw these inside this wheel. Don't lose them. And we'll start pulling this side apart. Now, you're going to need a little, I got this little tool that's kind of sharp on the end. And you just start it like that. Kind of go from side to side. And you kind of wiggle it out from side to side. Once you get it out far enough, then you're going to have to hand down on it like this. Just slowly work it out. There we go. All right. Sometimes it falls on the ground, gets dirt all over it. But that's all right. We got to clean all that out of there, all that grease. And we're gonna have to set that up.
Needs to be done.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah, you can tell the color. This is normally like a bright red. This color is starting to get dark, so it's time to actually take these apart. Okay, so you're gonna need a trash can. I like using these shop towels the best. They're a little stronger than your normal average kitchen towels. Let's kind of get some of this grease out of here.
Molly. Sorry, dog break. Molly, say hi. Say hi to the people. Say hi, everybody. I like to get into things, so we have mommy and daddy have to keep an extra eye on me. You say
okay, so now you got that out of there. Huh? I'm going to right here. Bring that camera in tight. Right here, you can see there's a little space. You can stick the thing right in there and just pull this off.
And what are those called?
This is just the, it's just the...
a castle, you said?
Like a castle nut. Well, it's really not a castle nut. It's just the, what holds this nut from spinning. There's a flat side right here. Flat side, that flat side goes against this flat side of this shaft, and once it's on there, it keeps the nut from spinning.
Okay.
Theoretically. But let's see. I want to check something. I want to show you something here. The other two in the front would just hand tight. Yeah. I can literally turn those off. So that's basically how they got to go back. Just beyond hand tight. Because when you put it back on, I'll show you, but you want to crank this nut down a bit, back it off, and then go hand tight, and then just a little bit beyond hand tight, and that will do the trick on these. I'm putting the same bearings back in, same races. Let's hope if everything's good and the bearings are good and they're not all compromised. I'll just put the same bearings back in and pack them and put them back in. All right, let's get this off here. Get a little bit more grease out of the way. All right. All right, is that? Okay, as you pull this off, this washer here is going to come off. It's a special washer. As you can see, when it comes out, there's actually a space. There's space in here between this washer. Okay, there's space. The hub saver, when it goes in, will take up all that space. So that this thing ever blows apart, okay, it could all come out. Because if that bearing is completely destroyed, this whole hub and wheel and everything come off. My neighbor right next to me, he had no idea. That's what happened to him. He was just pumping grease into him right through this grease fitting right here. And he just kept pumping it in and thought it was going to be okay. But apparently it wasn't. And it actually blew up and the whole wheel came right off. So you're going to want to, like I said, every 15,000 miles or 2 years, because 2 years it gets old, and you need to do this. It's a pain, but I think most people can do this. Anybody can do this. If I can do this, you can. So let me start to pull this off. When I pull this off, this washer is going to start to come right out. All right. Yeah. Do this. Put this down here, so then the washer will fall right into. There we go. Washer. Yep. And the bearings came right out. Okay, that's the other side. There's a lot of brake dust. I don't see a lot of grease or anything like that. It's mostly just brake dust.
Brake dust. Let's measure the shoes and see. They look good. Looks like you can get a little longer out of them.
Yep. Let me put this up on the table.
Here, let me move.
Yep.
A couple things here. Here.
Okay. So what's going to happen is there is a little bit of grease here. It's like just slightly though. Not enough to worry about, I don't think. Okay. The brake pads are mostly just dusty.
Yeah, the last time you put a shop towel on, it was just brake dust.
This is a little bit of grease here, but it's not enough to really worry about.
Pads.
Okay. So I think the pads are still good. What I plan on doing in the future is that this whole hub, there's some bolts right here. Nuts, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nuts. Those come off. This whole assembly comes off. 2 wires. You cut the wires, pull the whole assembly off, put a whole new assembly back on. Brakes and everything. It's the way to go. We've been told by a RV tech that that's the way to go. And when we go to do this with the brakes, that's the way we're going to do it. It comes, everything's, all the bearings, everything's all set. So,
yeah, that's what we're doing next time for sure.
Yeah, next time for sure. This one, I'll just clean the brakes up with the brake clean, and yeah, we'll call it a day. I got to clean that all up too.
All
right. We can just get some of the main stuff off here.
So bring over the other little table so you can set stuff on that too, or no?
Nope.
Okay.
You know what I want to do? Bring that camera in real tight. Take a picture. Get real close so I can get a photo of that number. I can always turn it so I can actually see it better. But I want to see that number in case we ever have to replace these.
I told you I have them in the...
Yeah, you have the right ones?
Yep. I use that number to look them up.
You use this number here?
Well, these ones, would they be different because they're rear?
No, there's just the side to side.
Yeah.
This should be exactly the same as that one.
One ends in a 9 and one ends in an 8.
Okay, did you get the other numbers on the other side?
Yeah, one ends in an 8, one ends in a 9.
Oh, okay, you did.
I did.
Because the other side, I actually put the stuff to clean it, and I actually wiped it with a rag, and the numbers disappeared.
Yeah, well, I
You did it before then?
I did before I looked.
Very smart. So but you actually got the numbers.
I did, and I put them in our save for later on Amazon because you can get them from Dexter.
Right. So
Dexter axles, we get the whole part.
Okay.
The whole part, because next time that's what we're doing.
Nice.
You get a right and a left around.
We got to clean these all up. Those are going to be cleaned up.
Yep.
That was your job last time.
I know. But I can either do the camera or I can clean things. Can't do both.
Okay, and grab some rubber gloves here. I'm going to start spraying. Hopefully these gloves will hold up good. We just got these.
They're supposed to be a little thicker.
They're supposed to be a little thicker. They seem like they're a little thicker.
And they're textured.
They get a little texture on there.
But they're only large, and the other ones we had were extra large, but
they're a little tight.
A little tighter. But all they had was large.
That's all right. We'll make it work.
You just won't be able to.
They're not breaking when I put them on, so that's good.
No, you won't be able to put them over your other gloves like we do the other ones.
That's all right.
But I figured, hey.
I got a couple cans that are just partial cans. Finish them up. Those are 2 full cans there. This stuff, you don't want to breathe it a lot. It can be pretty nasty.
Actually, I'm going to close the door to the RV.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really don't want that going in there. All right, people. So just move the bucket back a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
if you have a compressor available, do these all out, and then take a air gun and blow it all out. It actually works a little bit better, but I don't have the luxury of a compressor at the moment.
Not with us on the road at this time. Our compressor was a little too big to take with us, so. We gave it to our son.
All right, so I'll just take some clean towels and start wiping some of this down. Kind of interesting how this works. So I don't know if you've ever seen this. This is basically how this system works here. This is like a magnet. It's an electronic magnet. Okay. What it does is when you're going down the road and you apply your brakes, this electronic magnet is activated and it adheres itself to the inside of this hub. The more pressure you put, the more it sticks to the hub. When it does, it actually activates this. This right here, because it's stuck to the inside of the hub, is actually pushing this way, activating these brakes to come out. That's how this whole system works. So I just clean these up with a little bit of sandpaper. I'll clean these shoes up too. They don't look too bad at all.
We've got about 10,000 miles on the rig, but we've had her just over 2 years. So
yeah, we still got a fair amount of life on these. There's about 1/8 of an inch. It's actually a little bit more on these than it was on the front. It's a little over 1/8 of an inch on these. So
we're good for a little longer because we'll probably be putting another close to 4,000 on it here in the next few months.
There's those red towels.
Up there.
Grab one of these.
And so then we won't be putting mileage on it again for a little bit, not a lot of mileage, but before we do our next major trip, then we'll probably just replace all of them.
Yeah. Replace all this stuff.
Yep. Replace everything.
I mean, the brakes are actually working pretty good. I can feel it when I apply the brake pressure. So the brakes are working good.
Yeah, there's also the possibility of going to disc down the line, maybe. I don't know. It depends on how long we keep the rig.
Yeah.
Maybe the next rig. Disc and independent suspension.
What happens to these brake pads, if they get soaked real bad, it actually leaches inside the brake itself. There's really not that much on there. I seen a guy take a torch, actually heat these up, and then the grease will start to bleed out of them. I don't know how good that is, an idea that is, but that's what he was doing, so we didn't have to replace them. But these aren't really that bad.
No, it's brake dust.
Most of it's just brake dust on there. So it's
all. I mean, when we felt the last time, it looks similar, where it's really just the brake dust is really, it's not slippery at all. So just by cleaning it, you are just, ensuring that it starts off clean again.
Yeah, I'll take a little piece of sandpaper and just kind of go over these real lightly. And when I did that last time, they cleaned up really. It's perfect. It looks just like almost like a new brake pad.
Let's just say Scott has changed plenty of brakes.
Yeah,
over the years. At one point, we had 4 vehicles that we were maintaining.
Okay, so I'll show you what we got here as far as where the seals ride, you can actually see two lines there because the seals actually have two layers of protection. Okay.
Yep, I can see the grooves. Wheel lines.
If you have, now I'm going to take my glove off here. You kind of feel it with your fingernail. I can't even feel it really. So it's not that bad, but there's just a little marks there. Okay. So I'm just going to take some sandpaper. I have some 320 paper. What I do is I'll get those all off there, and then once those are off, I'll take some of the old paper and I'll go over with that. It'll kind of make it kind of fine. It'll fine it right down. Let me show you something here. You see this too. What happens is you get this hub on, and you're greasing your bearings. You want to grease them with this. And you put this on here, pump it a little bit. See that grease come right out of there? It comes right out of that little.
Oh, it's pretty red, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
It's inside the actual hub. Okay. So with these, what they do is that grease comes out and just kind of fills this whole area and then creates pressure and it pushes that way. But what I've been told is if you don't rotate these while you're pushing that grease in there, it can cause pressure to actually push grease out these seals, and that can cause a problem. I have a little bit of grease that came out of mine. That could have been the problem the first time. I'll admit it. I didn't know that, and I just popped these little covers off here. Okay, stuck the grease thing in there, and just started pumping the grease. So she came out red. That's not the way to do it. You have to actually lift the axle up, put the grease in, have someone turn the wheel as they're doing it. So that's the proper way to do it. Okay. So I'll get my sandpaper and I'll start sanding some of that off.
Here. Need a new one.
Get a new piece. You got to cut this with scissors because it doesn't rip. I thought it might rip by hand, but it does not. This stuff is very strong, which is good because you want it to be when you're actually doing this. I'm actually going to sit this pad.
Yeah, I was wondering when you would get that
on here. These are I just makeshift. These are the little extra ones we have for.
Those are Carlson Strombergs.
Carlson Strawberries to jack up the camper.
Stromberg Carlson. I always say it backwards. Stromberg Carlson.
Stromberg Carlsons, yeah. So you just go like this, and you get these all cleaned up. It's already starting.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's already starting to get them. So.
Yep.
You have to do this. You have to go all the way around the whole thing.
I saw the lines were already disappearing just from that little bit.
Yeah. I had one, I think it was this one here in the front, that I had a lot of sanding. It was a little deeper.
It was just that one, too. The other one wasn't as deep in the front. I don't know.
So I like to do all these, too. There's your bearings actually sitting on here. So I'll actually do these two, and this one too as well. I'll do them all. You can see a little mark right there, actually.
I can see it. Mm-hmm.
So I'll get these all sanded up, and then we'll continue on from there. All right. I want to show you real quick how to actually take off the old seal. There's a seal puller, and you just stick this underneath here. What it kind of does is it actually makes this come out. I'll put my safety glasses on here.
Yep.
It actually will kind of ding it a little bit, and then what happens is once it dings it a few times,
it'll pop
right out.
And like that. And on the ground, but it's getting thrown away, so that's all good.
Yeah.
You got grease on your shirt. Take care of that before you get it all over.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Anyway.
yeah, it ran into
No,
me.
that's a even. Oh,
But
sorry.
so what I'll do is now that that's out of there, this bearing will come right out of here.
Gonna clean it up a little bit first. I mean, it's not black, so it's good. But it is darker. It's a dark purple.
Clean some of this out of here. Yeah, no, I got to clean all this with brake. When they try to keep it off the drum. This part of the, as you can see, this part right here, this is that part I was telling you that electronic brake actuator sticks to. When you hit the electronic brakes, it actually attaches itself to this, which causes that arm to move, which causes the brake pads to push out. So that's how that works. And then you just pull this out; it just comes right out.
Ooh, that's goopy.
Yeah, but some of this grease off here.
Should have put some paper towels down.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Here.
I put some paper towels down.
I'm just gonna get regular paper towels.
Yeah, do that. Okay, so I'll just lay these out here. Amie can start taking some of this grease.
Yep, I get to clean these all up.
All off here.
My part.
And actually, this is full of grease. So I'll get this out of here. So you're just gonna want to take all this grease out of here. And let's start pulling the grease out. Comes out in big blobs. This is what happens when you fill a whole cavity full of grease. But it's kind of necessary. I don't put as much grease in after I'm done here today. I won't put as much in. I put about 15 pumps in. I don't want it to push any grease out the seals. So I just keep, I'm not going to flip this over. I can kind of take some of it from the other side too. Actually, just go like that.
Much easier.
Once you get the majority out of it like this, then you can start sticking some rags in there. What I'll do is once I get this all cleaned out, then I'll flip it over and I'll take the brake clean and spray all brake clean. I'll put it right inside the tub there and clean it right out.
Yep. Okay.
All right, we're good. All right, so I'm just going to spray down this this hub slightly, and I got a bucket underneath it. You don't have to go too crazy. Just want to get these. And yeah. Mostly want to just get all this cleaned up around here. I'll clean it mostly with this rag here. And then I'll give it another little light coat and take one of the blue rags and wipe it down. Wipe all this out later inside here.
I got most of it.
Yeah.
Without using brake clean.
Give this one more shot on these little backside of the studs.
Do you want me to get the paper towels for you?
Yeah. I'll grab them.
Well, I got them right here.
I got them? Okay.
There you go.
Jeez.
It's dirty.
It's really filthy. All right. And get some more blue towels. Couple more, babe.
Mm-hmm.
And so, all right. But these are fairly smooth. They're not real. There's not many deep gouges in them. So, yeah. And this isn't really bad either. It's a little gouge there, but it's not too bad. All right, we'll take this back out, sitting on the table. Flip it upside down and finish cleaning it.
A little bit of dust.
Wipe some of this off here. What?
Did you see some kids you wanted to go say hi to? No, thank you. Lay down. Go lay on your bed. Like, I'm stalking those children. I love children. I want them to say hi to me.
All right. So, we'll make sure there's no grease or anything on this metal surface of the brake. Where the brake rides, brake pads ride, you don't want any kind of grease at all. So no fingerprints or nothing. All right, so that looks pretty good. That's pretty well cleaned up. Pretty much what you want. All right. Next thing is I'm going to throw some grease in here and put the bearing back in.
Don't you have to pack them first?
Yep, I have to pack the bearings. Yeah, we can actually do that right now. There's the bearing packer. Come right over with the camera here. So this whole bottom section here, underneath this, is all full of grease. Full of grease right up to there. I got some actual grease out of a can.
Tin can.
So you stick the bearing, the small side down, right in there like that. And then this has a little screw. You don't have to screw it down onto this. You just put it down, put pressure on it, and if you look inside here as I'm doing it, you'll see that it will push the grease, the old grease, right up.
Oh, yeah. If they can see that.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah.
It pushed all that old grease out of the bearing.
Cool.
Okay. I'll clean this out of here. This old grease, you don't want it back in with your new grease. And I'll do it again. Throw this back on here. Until you see some nice red grease coming out. Yeah, it's all coming out nice and red now. See that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's all nice fresh grease coming out of there. Once that's like that, you got a nice packed bearing. Okay. I'll just take some of that grease right here. It's in here. And just make sure this race has got some grease on it too. And drop that bearing right in there. Yeah. A nice packed, freshly packed bearing in there. Okay.
Oh.
Next thing I'm going to do, clean this up just a little bit right here. I'm going to put the seal in.
Sorry.
I'm going to take my largest one right here. And you just got a little screw that comes off here. We're just going to use the flat side of this. Okay, So if you were pounding races in, you'd find out which one fits your race, and you'd put this side down. But where I'm going to put the seal on, you just want it nice and flat. Okay.
And what's the trick?
The trick? The trick, I'll show you in a second. I'm going to tighten that down just slightly. The hands are all slippery. All right, now this new seal, I'll put that in there just like that, kind of as flat as I possibly can. Put this on top. And now you have to pay attention to which side goes in first. In other words, if this side starts to dip in, I want to come over here. I want to bring my head of my bolt as far up. You don't want to get too close to the rubber. You don't want to ruin the rubber. Okay, so it's starting to go in even now. And you want this flush with this edge right here. Okay, it's not quite flush yet. So to keep it flush, if I keep this out to the outside, it's going to make it flush. It's going to get to the edge. And it's not going to go any further. There. That is perfectly flush. As you can see, I kept this bolt. I don't want to put too much against this rubber, but as I'm going around, bring it in tight here so they can see.
Okay.
I just went like that all the way around. You don't want this bolt, like I said, hitting this rubber. You don't want to destroy the rubber. So you just keep it just a little bit away and just keep going around like this. And that causes the flatness of this causes it to go level and equal with that. So yeah, so that seals in there perfectly well. I might throw a little grease in here like that, my finger, just to kind of a little bit of extra grease in there all the way around. Kind of shove it underneath that seal. There's grease in there. Okay. The other bearing, I'll get that all packed too while I'm here doing this. I'll show you that. Gonna wipe the excess grease off this rubber. Okay, spray it on the rag. And just kind of wipe it off. Not a big deal. That's a lot of grease. You're gonna get grease on places. You're just gonna make sure you get it off. Okay. What I usually do is just take a fresh rag.
Hold on. There you go.
And just stick it on here like this. Put this on top of that. So that's not going anywhere. All right. Pack this other small bearing. Can't see it as well. That's good. Okay. That is how you pack the bearings. All right. So, as you can see, I have my cleaned up hub over here. And I just put, what I do is I put the bearing in there, put the seal on top of here over this, and then when I'm doing the other side, I just cover this all up with this. So I have my nice freshly packed bearing that's going to go on the other side. Okay, so I'll put this stuff all over here, ready for me when I go to grab it. I'm going to throw some grease, put my gloves on. Okay, now I'll take a little bit of grease. Just put it right on here.
Yes.
You got it. I got it. And I'll just get this all around there. Just a light on this outside. Just a light layer of grease on the outside here. All right. Now I'll just wipe my hands off. I'm getting grease on the hub. All right. Trying to keep your hands out from inside this rig. There we go. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of grease on the inside of this. I got enough grease in there. That's good. Well, that race, I'm going to put the bearing on first. Okay. Then we're going to throw the hub saver on. You get that? Hub saver goes on. Like that. Yeah, that barely, there's no space really to speak of. So if that all blows apart and there it comes off, it's gonna run in place of that bearing. It's gonna run in there and keep it from keeping the wheel from flying off, which would not be a good thing. Driving down the road and you see your wheel go flying by. Probably wouldn't be a good thing. What I'm gonna do is tighten this up a little bit. And then turn this a few times. Make sure we got it good. You're not rocking at all. Then I'm just going to tighten this up as far as I can with my hand. By hand. And then just give it a little tweak here. That should do it. That sounds good. She's not rocking. Okay. Now I need my castle. This, I don't know what you call this thing actually. It's just a locking mechanism. There, it's flat against this. So I'm going to allow that nut to turn at all. And there we go. That's perfect. Okay, so now all I gotta do is put this little cap back on. All right, so kind of tap this on here a little bit. Get it started. I should probably pull this rubber off so I don't hurt that. Actually, you know what? We gotta leave this off. You gotta fill it with grease first. All right, my grease gun.
Just right here. I'm gonna turn it while you.
Yep. Go ahead. Keep turning it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's good. That'll be good enough. All right. Because you have your bearings all freshly packed, you don't need to fill that whole cavity full of grease. I figure 15 pumps is probably enough just to get some grease in there. And then 6 months to a year, you know, I can go in and do the same thing. But then you have to lift it up again and spin the axle. So it's kind of a pain, but you only have to lift one at a time on this one when you do that. So it won't be so bad. You see, they give you a hole here, so you can actually fill it through here. It's just that when you do that, I'd almost rather, you can't pull. So you have this on here. You can't pull this off here like this when that's on there. So what happens is you fill it and you have to kind of dig the grease out of there. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But then you just put this in here like this. Use the same tool you use to take it out and put it back in. All right. You just put a hammer on this, it'll dent the thing like crazy. Matter of fact, I did put a little ding in it right there. Not that big a deal. Just push it right back out. Okay. That's all set to throw the wheel on there. This job is pretty much done. So watch this video. You'll kind of know more what you're doing. You'll know the tools that you need. It'll take you less time than it did me because I had to find the tools I needed as I went. So, but this video will help you out. I hope you really liked the video. If you did, hit the like button below. Also, subscribe to the channel. And hopefully we'll have some other videos that interest you, repairs or maintenance or something like that. Also, don't forget to ring the bell down below. What it'll actually do is it'll notify you when there's new videos coming. So, yeah. And is there anything else? Oh, yeah, please leave a comment below as well. I really appreciate that. That actually helps the channel as well. And let me know if there's anything that you would have done differently or any suggestions that you might have. And please leave a thumbs up if you like the video. And that's it for this video, and we will see you on the road.
Call it a day and celebrate.